You're on.
Okay, with quorum, I'll call the meeting to order, and if you can stand and say the pledge, please. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, we have a really full agenda. It'd be great if we can vote on our final operating budget at the end of the meeting tonight. I think it's very doable. But I'll start by if we have any public input. Nope. Okay. Our first appointment is with Jack. Come on down. Do you want to start with the warrant article, if you would, please? Or
I don't have it. I don't have it in front of me, but you can. I know what it is, so.
Well, let's see. Why don't you talk to us about this? And why you need a new truck? The warrant article that we were going to review, find it, it is number 5.
Number 5.
No, did we change numbers?
Yeah, I'm sorry, it keeps getting changed.
Not
It's
fine.
the 12 now.
It's number
And it will
12.
change again, but
Okay.
There we go.
And it reads, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $29,000 to purchase and equip a new vehicle for the code officer. Majority vote required, recommended by Board of Selectmen 3-0. We voted on this 5-2 previously, and that was before Jack had shared.
Well, I changed the amount for that. It was 35. It's been changed to 29.
Yeah.
And we also added $4,000 to the revenue side of the budget for the value of the old truck.
Okay. But if you could tell us,
Yeah, I just had some work done to it. It needed something done to the engine at Canton Chevrolet, and then it needed a new gas tank module, and that was done. That was $1,075. So that already went over my budget for line maintenance, so I think it's gonna need tires, a steering rack, CD joint, and 2 boots on the front end. And then all those, the repairs for the gas tank actually came out less than I originally said, so it'll need probably $3,800 of the work this year.
3,800.
And that's about the blue book value of the vehicle.
Okay.
So,
Because before we kind of thought maybe it was okay, but it's not sounding like it's,
no, and then when I went to Canton Chevrolet, they looked up underneath it and said it had quite a bit of rust under it, so when it was up on the lift in January, it was there, so. And that's the reason, so it's 10 years old, so.
okay. And so I think,
And it'll either be traded or it'll be probably, most likely a sealed bid, because they usually do better with a sealed bid
I,
to get rid of the old one.
I'm of the opinion we should revisit this. Could I have a motion to revisit this warrant article, please? May I have a second?
No second.
Okay, all in favor? Okay, Guy and John against. So we're going to revisit it. And John, do you want to tell us why you are still?
Oh, what do you mean revisit? I thought, I'm ready to vote on it, that's why I said no. I thought you were gonna move on to something else and come
Well, I
back to it.
think that we have to move to revisit because we
Yeah,
already
the
voted
amount's
on it.
changed.
Oh, gotcha, okay.
And
Then
the
yeah,
amount's changed.
then I'm for that, yeah. I'm ready to vote for it.
Okay. So, Guy, you didn't want to revisit the,
No, I was happy with my vote and everything that was presented before. I'm fine with it.
okay. The amount is lower and it's been brought to our attention that it needs quite a bit of repair. So I guess now I'll call for a motion to approve the new warrant article as it reads.
So move.
Okay, may I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor? Looks like 6-1, Guy's still out, because you think that it is in good shape, Guy? That's what you told us last time.
I have no comment.
Okay.
Nancy, why do you discriminate against the yes voters? You always ask the no voters, but you never ask the yes voters why they vote yes.
Ask me why I voted yes, Guy, I'll tell you.
I'm fine.
Okay, all right.
Thank you, Jeff.
So that vote has passed, and now let's look at your budget. We have some changes there as well. It looks like your vehicle maintenance line,
Yeah.
you want to raise that to 2,000, so you want to increase it for another 1,000.
Right, it's $75 in the minus right now, or
What's
76.
the number on that budget?
That is 4240, Bob.
240.
We've already overspent the line.
Yeah, we have it.
We need to make that full.
So do I have a motion to increase this budget?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, may I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Okay, 7-0 on that, Karen. Okay. So it is now the 62,597. Okay, thanks for coming in.
Thank you very
Jeff.
much.
Thanks for playing.
Yeah, thanks for coming in.
Yeah.
Friday.
Yeah.
Did
Okay.
I win? No. Participation.
Next,
Jeopardy playing
I
football.
had,
Nobody knows what it's.
Hilarious.
was Adam gonna come in? Yes. Okay.
I'll get him.
Finest news. That was 4240.
Yeah.
Is he here?
He was in the police station.
Pardon me? He didn't see him. Oh, he didn't see him?
He was in
Okay.
the police station.
All right, let's move on to the next one, which is Article, looks like it's still Article 9 on my paper, or did you change that one?
He's coming.
He's coming. Maybe we could just really quick do this one. Did you want to speak to that?
Sure,
Jeff?
we increased it from original 250,000. What was the original one? I'm
235, I believe.
sorry. 235.
It's been the same for every year.
Right.
Right.
It's stagnant, what you want, right?
Two reasons. One, we needed to reevaluate the roads that we're gonna pave or try to pave. And more importantly, we got, I believe it was $10,000 for a pavement assessment done by the Lakes Region Planning Board. They did the culverts recently, and they'll come and do the whole town. The question I had when we were discussing it was, the math wasn't working. There was testimony that it was $135,000 a mile to do the roads, and I just did some quick math and figured that we'd do each road about every 25 years, which is too long a period of time. So we need to be able to triage a little better and answer our voters' questions a lot more clearly about what our paving schedule actually is. Because some roads like Shirley Way, for instance, might last 20 years or 15 years, whereas Ledge Hill Road and Sodom Road might only, you might want to put them on an 8 or 10 year rotation. So there was a lack of information which needed to be addressed, and we also needed to hopefully finish Durgan Road and start on Brown Road. So that's where that came from.
Okay, and I think that, for me, in regards to this, it makes perfect sense to have someone come in and do a survey, a third party.
Mhm.
Traditionally, I know you've walked the roads and looked at them, but to have a document that says, okay, in 5 years, you might want to really consider this or that, maybe.
And Chairman Woods brought some information to the board about different types of paving for different
Mhm.
applications, whether it's a high traffic area or low traffic area. So I think there's a lot more information out there that we need to be looking at, a lot better system that we could put in order.
And we might have to pay more in future years, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, do I have a motion to,
This is a $25,000 increase over what we had approved?
Right.
yes,
Okay.
do I have a motion?
So moved.
Okay, do I have a second?
Seconded.
Gordon, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, looks like we have 7-0 on that one, Karen. Thank you.
Yeah, that's absolutely right, it's not enough.
Yeah.
We don't know what it is.
Well,
In future years.
We need to
Right.
get to the point where
Exactly.
we know what it is.
It's just been stagnant too long.
Yeah.
I mean, we wouldn't let our employees go without at least the cost of living increase and the cost of paving
Do the,
in general, whether it be labor or materials has gone up.
Only because you
I
did
would
on the
expect
other
that
one,
in the future, we
you're
might
right,
want
you're
to
exactly right, Karen.
keep on, appropriate amount, but
Chip, are we thinking about hiring somebody to investigate?
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Yeah,
Makes
okay.
you-
We're gonna have a survey done.
And I made an error in point of order here. I didn't have a motion to revisit this. We had already voted on it.
Want a motion to revisit what we just voted on?
Yeah,
I'd be happy to do that.
second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, there you go, Karen.
Thanks.
Yeah, I thought we were revisiting all these.
Okay, and now we're going to talk to Adam. Come on down. This is another revisit, and this is for, which one do we have, 16? No,
Two.
five. Yeah. May I have a motion to revisit Article 5?
I'll motion to revisit Article 5.
Okay, may I have a second, please? Okay, and all in favor? Okay. Let's go. What have you got? I asked you to come in because I thought you would talk to us about the truck and the frame.
Okay.
That's information we didn't have when we voted on it initially.
As I had said at the selectmen's meeting, we're not replacing this truck because the frame is gonna break today. We had no idea when the frame will, fail as far as it goes. We've done everything that we can to keep it from spreading any further as far as it goes. You can't weld it. It's not going to, it can't be done as far as with the dual, the double frame that is put together. But it was cleaned out at one point in time as far as all the rust and all that stuff and sealed up to try to keep it from spreading any further. At approximately 8 years ago, we had the rear of the truck repainted because it had some rust and things like that that were coming out, trying to save that. I did, as far as follow up a little bit further, as far as frame replacement, because I know that a question had come up or something along that lines had come up. A company that I had talked with that is called Coastal Truck and Auto Body. They actually do frame replacement as far as vehicle wise. And when I had talked with them, they had given me some information on one particular truck that in the past year, last year, had been done, and that was out of Arundel, Maine. The actual truck was a 2002. Ours is a 1998. It was a 4900 series, Class A pumper, and it's used more as a rescue truck, apparently, than a fire truck. But it carries their rescue equipment, but it does have a pump and water. But a single cab, ours is a 4-door. They had it done
the replacement done for $30,000. Again, the 2002, and are happy with it. They said that they haven't had any issues, so far as they go along. They was asking them if they had front suction. Front suction is a 5 or 6 inch pipe that travels from the front of the truck underneath along the frame and to the back to the pump. So that we can hook a suction line to that in one of the dry hydrants that you might see around town, or just hook the suction line to that and pump right from the lake or a cistern. So that would be one more thing that we would have to deal with as far as taking off, as far as if something like that was to be replaced. They, not even looking at the truck, they said $40,000. That doesn't include anything that breaks when they take everything off the frame, or if they find anything that is rusted that would have to be replaced. That's all on top of that. So that was a little bit further information as far as frame replacement.
And I have a note here that it could be out of service for up to 2 months.
That, in the past, apparently it has got better. This particular department said that they were guaranteed 3 weeks, and it was done in a week. So that's a lot better than what I've seen in the past, because I've seen the trucks gone for some time and have issues. But obviously things progress as companies go along. It isn't a simple thing to do something like that. You've got to take everything off. You've got to take the body off. It's not a dump truck. You've got to take the tank out, all the piping, all the wiring, and whatever is normally on a frame, that all would have to come off. So that would worry me as far as to do that. And then you still have a 1998 truck.
So you'd be spending at least $40,000 on a 12-year-old truck.
Without having to look at it as $40,000. They wouldn't come up and take a look at it?
Oh, they will.
Oh, okay.
But at one point in time, I was told, don't spend a huge amount of time on it, but I just wanted a general idea of what we would get involved in if we actually did
the truck
that.
originally cost here?
The truck originally cost was under $300,000. Because it's what's called a conventional 4-door chassis. Obviously they have the back added to it.
Is there an insurance concern relative to insurance coverage on something like this being undertaken in terms of its safety factor?
They're a certified company, so if they do it, then if you took it to a shop that was in your backyard somewhere, yes. But a company that does this all the time, I would say probably not.
Do they have any idea as to what how many good years you could get out of it once this money was spent?
Well, it all depends on how long
Usage.
the rest of the truck lasts. You still have a 20-year-old pump.
Yep.
You still have a 20-year-old engine and all the other parts that you have attached to it. Say nothing about the safety features that the new truck is going to bring along as far as what has come about in 20 years, as far as the rollover protection, the black boxes, the seat belt safety mechanisms that they have in the things, the upgrades as far as pumps. Electrical wise, not so excited about computers and things like that, but that all comes with this day and age.
You just don't know if it would pass inspection right now?
Oh, I know that it'll pass inspection.
Okay.
I'm not saying, what I'm saying is that we're not going out to get this truck because the frame is gonna fail tomorrow. We don't know when that will happen. Currently, it's past inspection. We have a inspection that's, will be coming up. We have the trucks inspected twice a year. The actual inspection is in September because things have changed in the state. But in March, we have a major service done to all the apparatus that goes through it top to bottom to try to find anything that's wrong. They service the pumps, they grease them, and they go through the stuff from top to bottom. So,
What is the lead time to get the new truck?
so a new truck, it's a year. So it's not something that you just go out and
Mhm.
here it is.
But you're not looking at doing anything with this frame if it went to town meeting and passed for a new truck, you'd just sell it
Yeah,
as
the
is?
truck would be sold as is. And we've started to contact areas that sell fire apparatus because, there may be some area in the southern part of the country that would buy something like this.
Do we have any idea what the value is?
And I haven't been able to get a value yet, but I'm sure that I possibly could. But usually if you say anything about, that this frame spread,
Mhm.
they kind of back away from it.
Okay,
So we pay for it in 18 and we get it in 19, is that?
Yes.
well, it's looking as if we would, I'll read the warrant here. It says, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $123,142 and authorize the selectmen to enter into a 5-year lease purchase agreement in the amount of $580,000 for the purpose of purchasing and equipping a new fire truck for the fire department to replace fire engine 2. $123,142 reflects the first year's payment. The lease agreement contains an escape clause. Majority vote required. Our initial vote was 5-2, and it's been recommended by the Board of Selectmen 3-0.
Has this changed?
No, but we didn't have any information on any possible frame issues, so yes, Karen.
Excuse me, the already did have us change the sentences around a little bit.
Oh, the
Just
sentences
to
around.
reflect the first year's payment.
That's right, what we have right now is the wording that,
DRA.
yes, Guy.
So as I understand it, when we have an escape clause, we will have to have a warrant for each year's payment voted on at town meeting, and that's one of the things. So we're not actually going to ask anyone for $580,000 this year. We're going to ask for $123,142.
Right.
And the
Which-
next years, as we go along, we do it every time. That's how that works.
That's the way that's what the RA is selected.
And it seems a little odd at times, but with an escape clause, if for some reason we get a lemon, or it just doesn't suit our purposes, don't have to pay $580,000. If we need to give it back, heaven forbid, but for some reason, we do have a little protection with it, I think. I don't know. Everybody else's opinion is not.
It's financing.
But I'm confused, I guess, on when we start paying, when we actually receive it. It'd be like me getting a lease on a truck and I pay for it now, but I get it in a year.
Well, here's what happens, or what has happened with the other apparatus in the past. By paying for the truck up front, we then have, it's bonded, or as far as there's something there that the company puts in place that says they guarantee that they're gonna build this. If they don't build it, we get our money to be able to go to a different company for them to build it. That's usually like $3,000 of
Excuse me.
the vehicle payment as far as it goes. By paying for it up advance, usually you get a discount on the truck as far as the chassis. If you own the chassis and they don't have to finance the money for that chassis, you get it for cheaper as far as it goes. And what we have been finding, and what I had found when I called the finance company for this lease purchase, was that everything's going up. The percentage rate is already changed to 3.5%. They're estimating when we get to the point that we really want to do this, if we do this, which would change the payment to 124, 115. So they're saying, what they had said to me was that right now, lease rates are trying to figure out the new tax code and how to adjust to a new rate of return. Feel free to call me back frequently, since the rates will bounce around a little until things get settled down. So apparently, businesses, they don't, the way that she explained it to me was that they don't need, these leases so much anymore. So they're not able to give them so cheaply. Before, they change things, but I'm not a finance person by any means, and I'll never try to tell you that I am. But the numbers had changed, which I'm glad, DRA did say something so that I was able to find that out at least.
Well, you just said that it would cost 124.
124, 115 would be the first payment.
So,
And that's the advance.
which is not what's in here.
Yeah, I think, you're looking at this run.
And this is information that I just got today, so no
So we're gonna have to change.
one has that.
Well, based on that,
Well,
should
they're not
we-
gonna guarantee that payment until after town meeting, are they?
Right, no.
So there's no
Should
reason
we
to
make
change
it-
the warrant article, we need to change it at town meeting.
oh,
Because we need to change it when we can make a deal.
You can amend it.
Okay, so we're going to leave it at 123, 142,
I think so.
because we're selectmen's in charge that anyway.
And
Okay,
And change it, meet at town meeting.
it might be,
Yeah, might change at town meeting.
I mean, I ran some numbers on the frame if you want, but
what do you have
it's
there?
really up to you, the no votes. But, I mean, in order to amortize that frame repair, we'd have to keep the old truck an additional 5 years. And at the current rate of travel on new vehicles, if they're increasing in price at the same rate that they have been increasing in price, you never really get ahead. You end up having to keep the old truck for close to 8 years before you can get back to zero. And you're increasing the annual, I mean, we're just keeping a vehicle 20 years is a little strange, but that's how fire departments do it. So you actually have been spending $15,000 a year or around that on a fire apparatus, and we're going up to $28,000 for the new one. I don't know if you've done any work on what having a 25-year-old pumper does to our insurance rates or any of that sort of thing.
I have not checked with the insurance company.
But I know that there's actuaries out there that just look at that kind of stuff.
I do know that, talking with the dealers, one of them said that next year, looking at the pricing, that it would go up $50,000 approximately, as far as vehicle-wise, if it was voted down.
So that's even more, because I was coming up with an annualized rate of around 14. Okay.
So I just had one final concern on this, because I'm okay with the purchase, is the timing of when we can say that we're getting the revenue of the old truck, because it does say replace. We can't budget for that because we're not gonna sell it for a year, so how?
It's not on our revenue side.
Right, because we can't sell it because we're not gonna get it for a year.
Right.
So how do we ensure that it'll be on next year's revenue budget?
Well, that's what we're here for. When we put Jack's old truck on that estimated revenue.
Because we're gonna get they were gonna get the truck in the same year.
Right. But
So you can
we'll do the same thing will happen next year, is we'll have to give an estimated revenue, and that revenue estimation will include getting rid of the old fire engine. So it'll be probably on
So I
the.
gotta take your word on that for next year?
You'll be here.
Well,
That is true, one more.
the other
Where else are we
thing,
gonna put the money?
the
No, you
other,
don't sell it.
Okay, Adam?
well,
That's
Where are
the
you
other
gonna
thing.
put
we've always been made to sell it.
Yeah.
Anytime, there's always someone that stands up and says, you're gonna sell this piece of apparatus, correct? And we haven't gone back on that.
Oh, I would keep it.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah, oh, it'd always be nice to have a spare engine, but not one with a
I
frame
know, but
level.
still, it's for budgeting purposes, I just
Yeah.
like it to be on the same.
But we can put Jack's truck in the revenue because we'll get that sooner and be able
Right,
to
'cause in the
sell
same
his, but we
period.
can't
Right.
this one because we won't until next
Right, we're
year.
gonna have all that, you're right, that was my only concern, is that we can't budget for this, the same thing,
I
because.
think the history of the town shows that we've always sold.
Well, I mean, we could elect not to make the first payment this year. The problem there is, you can't nail down a price.
Right, I can't guarantee that it'll be 580.
Well, and interest rates in a year are probably gonna be
Right.
worse,
Yeah.
would be my
Oh.
guess.
Also, we haven't found out whether or not we can trade, if it's worth anything as far as trading
Mm.
Oh, to that company.
to either of the companies that may be bidding.
Any more questions for Adam? May I have a motion, please?
I'll move the motion.
Are we revisiting or are we?
Oh, you're gonna review.
I think we already did make the motion to revisit,
Revisit.
correct?
You did,
Now we're making the
On
motion.
the revisited article.
And so Gordon, you moved, correct? May I have a second?
I'll-
Okay, Helen second. All in favor on this one?
Right.
Okay, 6-1 on this one.
Holding you to that revenue number, that makes sense.
And
Good,
Guy,
good.
could
I
you,
like that.
your public
I
hearing,
believe
could you
in
tell
pressure.
us your thoughts on this?
Actually, my thoughts have actually changed in some respects. Not knowing what the legislature is going to do with this latest donor town proposal, I'm hesitant to spend any money at all. That scares me. So I think if we were to wait a year on this, which I think the truck will make it with no problem, it would be a prudent thing to do. The bad aspect of that, and I will speak to both sides of that, is if we do get hit with this donor town affair, we're not going to have a lot of money to be throwing around. It's terrible, but I would vote to wait a year.
Okay, thank you, Guy. All right,
Good job.
thank you very much, Adam, for coming in.
Well, I'd also like to speak to another issue
Yes,
concerning our chief.
yes.
Having friends, family, and relatives, fire chiefs, fire departments, I've been made aware, and I looked into it. The fire chiefs do have a personal liability issue in some of the decisions they make. And so they will always err on the side of caution. And I commend Adam for doing that and everything that he does. Thank you, Adam.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you, Adam.
And thank you for
Good point.
taking the time to actually, think about these things and take your time here. I know you're not paid to be here. You don't have to be here, as far as it goes. And put up with all of this as far as it goes. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Adam.
Do-
Appreciate it.
Do we have to address that second?
We're gonna address it, you don't need to
Don't
worry
need
about
to?
it.
Okay,
It's just accounting.
very good. Thank you very much.
It is next on the agenda, the fire and rescue. It used to be in our operating budget.
Right.
And DRA has said, no, it has to be a warrant